Hey guys, how you doing? Welcome back to the channel. Today's video is going to be on the pickups that I got from Bilston's Black Country Game Fair, and I just want to start by saying what an amazing event it was. The games were great, the vendors were amazing, and whilst I didn't get a chance to say hello in person, I did in passing get to say a quick hello to Retro Ghetto, and I did see Collector's Quest there as well. So I've got a little bit of footage of the event. But it still feels a little bit awkward to me to be carrying a camera around and recording, even if it is my phone that I use. It's just something I need to get better at and get used to. So hopefully in the coming weeks and months, I'll be going out more often and taking videos while I'm out and about, just to kind of get used to it more. So whilst the event was great, the venue itself is quite small and it's quite compact, which has its pros and cons. The cons being that obviously you can't get as many vendors in, but I think the pros outweigh that, and it's a lot more intimate, I guess is the word. You have more chance to actually speak to people. I think it's a fantastic event, and the organisers did a fantastic job again this time, and I look forward to the next one. So I tried to organise the pickups that I did get based on which ones I got first to which ones I got last, and there is quite a lot here. I think there's something like 30 games, and the way that I try and do it every time I've been to a game fair is I'll do one very quick lap around all of the stalls to see if there's any bargains that really jump out, or if there's any games that I really want. I'll look for them first, and then the second and the third lap is just taking a lot more in-depth look at the things that I might not have seen on my first lap. So the first games I picked up on the day, on my first lap, are funnily enough from the last stall that we saw, because this stall, it was tucked away right in the corner. So I picked up 5 games from this stall, and there's PS2, PS3 and PS4 in there. So we'll start with the PS2. And the first one, it's a game I did already have, but I had the Platinum version, and that is Prince of Persia, Sands of Time. Now I think this is actually the first game I played on the PS2, because the PS2 bundle my mum and dad got me for Christmas was the Prince of Persia Sands of Time bundle. It came with a copy of this in the box. Fantastic game, I loved it. I was looking forward to the remaster they were doing of this, but I think that's kind of like dead in the water now. But that was £1. So in that condition, for a normal version of it, I was happy to pay that. Next one, usually a bit more of an expensive game on the PS2, and it's a game I think most people have played because it was such a classic game back in the day. I mean, even still to this day, a lot of people say this is the best Spider-Man game that has ever been released, and it was way ahead of its time for what you could do. But that was £2 in that condition, complete. The disc is a little bit scratched on that one. I haven't tested it, but it doesn't look like it will affect it running. But the last one is another classic, Need for Speed Most Wanted, and to this day this is one of my favourite driving games of all time. God knows how much time I spent on this back in the day, but I just remembered like day after school coming home and playing this. So in that condition, I'm sure CXL this for about 12, is it 10? £3 he was charging for that. So already there we're sitting at what, £6, and that's 3 games that would have cost me like 20 plus from anywhere else. Next one, I think this was sitting at £1 or £2 as well, but it's one I didn't have on the PS3, and that is Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows Part 1. Again, this is complete with the manual, and the only other Harry Potter game I had on the PS3 was The Order of the Phoenix. Can't remember how much this goes for at CEX, but I'm sure it's like 5 or something like that. So again, a bargain there. And in this game, a PS4 game, one I'd never heard of, never seen, didn't know anything about it, and it was sitting at £10, and that game is called Lord Winklebottom Investigates. I still haven't really looked much into this game. I've read the back of the case, and it looks like some kind of murder investigation kind of thing. Just looks really unique. I mean, £10 is roughly about what it goes for. So the next stall is one I'll go to on my second lap, and I'm taking a bit more of a deeper look at what games are available. But with this one, they're all PS3 games, all ones I didn't have, except for one. I did that typical thing of not remembering if I had it or not, and this time I did already have it. We'll start with Prototype 2 with a very nice cardboard sleeve. In one of my recent videos, I did get a copy of Prototype 1, and I did say in that video that I was looking to get Prototype 2 as well, because the PS3 or Xbox 360 are currently the only way to get physical copies of this in the UK. So I was happy to get that, and with the cardboard sleeve in such good condition as it is, no, for £2 I wasn't going to leave that sitting there. But complete with the manual as well, everything in there as it should be. So the next game I got from that stall, also for £2, was Fantastic Four: Rise of the Silver Surfer. It is also complete with manual and in really good condition. Simply got this because for £2 it was a game I didn't have, and I wasn't just going to leave it there. I did play the Fantastic Four game on the PS2 and like that. I don't think this one holds up too well, but willing to give it a go at some point. Next one I also got for £2, and this will show up in my next or previous video depending on when I'm releasing this one, is a PS3 Steelbook, which is Batman Arkham City. I think this was the Joker edition. Not entirely sure. It didn't come with anything extra inside. I'm not sure if it's supposed to. But £2 for a Steelbook. I mean, as you can probably see at the top, it is quite rusted on both sides. But it was one of them. I do own this on PS4 in the Arkham City collection. But for £2 for a Steelbook, I can add to the collection. I'm not going to say no. So this next one is one that I did actually already own. Forgot that I did. I can't even remember where I picked up my first copy from. But that is Transformers: Revenge of the Fallen. I know some of the Transformers games go for crazy money nowadays. This isn't one of them. I think I got it for £4. This is the copy that I actually picked up. The copy that I already had was quite battered, to be honest. So I can't remember if I got it from a car boot or something. But comes complete with manual. So with that one, obviously I swapped out the things that were in the best condition from the copy I did have. And then I've now essentially got a really nice clean copy of that game. It worked out well in that aspect. I got a quality upgrade and I can trade that back in for £3. So essentially for £1, you know, I got a condition upgrade. Next one is one that I don't know why I didn't have yet. It's pretty much a staple on the PS3 and Xbox 360, and that is the orange box. It's in really nice condition. I believe I picked this up for £6. It's hard to remember the prices because obviously you don't get receipts at these kind of things. Glad to now have that in the collection, and we'll be playing it at some point very soon. Because I do love Portal and Half-Life 2. And the last one, which completes a small subset on the PS3, is Lost Planet 3. So now I have all three of these. For some reason this one is a lot more expensive than 1 and 2. I don't know if it's a case of it was just the best one or the most recent one. But this was £8 from the Game Fair. I think CX sell it for 10, but this one comes with the manual, everything looking really nice and clean. So from that stall, I think I spent a total of £24 or £26. So for them 6 games, one of them being a steelbook, one of them having a nice cardboard sleeve, I think that's more than a fair price. So my next lot of games was from probably my favourite stall of the day, and it always is a highlight of the event every time it's on. I believe his name's Chris, but he usually has a stall full of gaming t-shirts, figures, like he has loads of Mario stuff. This time he had loads of like TMNT figures, some like older and stuff like that. He's one of the stalls at the event that doesn't always have games, but this time he did. They were on the floor at the bottom of the stall, kind of half hanging out underneath, and I could see there was PS2, PS3 in there. So I start a conversation with him. I buy some Mario figures for my son, and later on I do also come back and buy some TMNT figures for my son as well. The Mario ones were £2 each, but he did a deal with me to get them for £1 each if I got 5. So £5 for 5 figures. And then he had a massive box of TMNT stuff that he was doing for £1 each. So I got my son pretty much a whole set of TMNT figures, picked up 7, and then he said, oh, just pick up an extra 3 and you can have them for the same, like for the £7. Honestly, such a nice guy. But I asked him the price of the games. I thought he was going to say, you know, £2 to £5 each, depends on the game. That's normally the kind of apps you get these. He just said £1 each, doesn't matter what they are, doesn't matter what they're worth. Everything in these game boxes are £1 each. So I spend a good 15-20 minutes digging through these, and some of the games were absolutely amazing. And it's only when people start seeing me digging through them, they actually come over and start digging themselves. So all of these, except for 1 or 2, do come complete with the manual. And as I said, these are all £1 each. So we'll do the one PS3 game I got, which was Epic Mickey 2. Now, this is a game that I've never actually played. Same with the first one. I do have the PS5 remastered version of the first one, but I'd never played it either. I think I was of an age when these came out where I thought, you know, Mickey Mouse was for kids. You know, I was at that stroppy teenager stage in my life. But £1 for this is such a bargain. So I wasn't going to leave that there. And then all the rest are PS2, so I've got 11 PS2 games. I did mention in a video recently that PS2 isn't really a focus, but if I see them for a good price, I will pick them up. And that's exactly what this day was. Like, so many PS2 games at such good prices, it was the console that came out on top. But we'll quickly go through these. So we got Call of Duty Finest Hour, complete with the manual, all in good condition. Even the discs on these, like, you'd think because he hasn't checked them, they might not be in the best nick, but all of them, I've checked them all and they're all in absolutely great condition. Next one, Call of Duty 2, big red one, again, complete with manual, good condition. Then there's Incredibles. I remember playing this back in the day, and there was a lot of games like this where it was like a 4-player party type game. Shrek 2 was the same, Madagascar was the same. All really fun games to play. So I'm glad I've added that one to the collection because that is a nostalgia one for me. So this one is worth more than I thought it would be, but that is Tony Hawk's American Wasteland. This is in good condition, comes with the manual as well. I'm sure I saw that that's worth like £5 or £6, something like that. This one unfortunately doesn't come with a manual, and it's a shame because it is Tony Hawk's Underground 2. If I had to guess, I would probably say that after Kingdom Hearts 1 and 2, this is probably my most played PS2 game. I spent so much time on this playing through and, you know, creating new characters, going through the story again and again. I had such an amazing time with it. As I said, unfortunately it doesn't come with a manual, but the disc is in good condition. Next one, Medal of Honor Frontline. I think I mentioned this in another video as well, but my mum used to love the Medal of Honor games. So I used to play these with her all the time. Rising Sun is the one that I remember the most, but Frontline, I believe this is the one where you start on D-Day. Also such a fantastic game. You can never go wrong with the old school Medal of Honors. So I also got Max Payne 2. Obviously classic from back in the day. There's a scene where you're having flashbacks and all you can hear is a baby crying, and something about that, I don't know, I remember having nightmares about it. Now these next two, I'm glad I got a chance to pick them up here, because if you watched the video where I talk about how my bundle was ruined by Vinted, or in post, I spoke about 2 games that I'd ordered and didn't receive, and they were Scooby-Doo Night of 100 Frights. This one unfortunately doesn't come with a manual, but everything else is in perfect condition. And the other one was Scooby-Doo Mystery Mayhem. So this one does come with a manual and is in really good condition. Again, for £1 each for these. I think that's even a better deal than I got on the ones I ordered from Vinted. So everything worked out really well on that, to be honest. Another one that is an absolute classic that I remember playing with cousins and my uncles and my brother all the time was Star Wars Battlefront 2. Now these games are just, I think it's for so many of us from this era, hold such a special place. Comes with the manual and is all in good condition. So the last one that I picked up from Chris was Star Wars Episode 3 Revenge of the Sith, and it is one that I did already own, but as a Platinum Edition, and I am trying to swap them out when I can. But again, absolutely amazing condition. Disc and manual inside, also in really good condition. And that sums up that stall, and that was £12 for that lot, which I haven't even had a look, but I just already know that that is nothing but a bargain. The only thing I wish I would have tried is potentially just saying, what would you take on the whole box? Because £1 for any of these games and some of the others that were in there, absolute bargain. So the next stall I only got 3 items from. I did get the one PSP game that I picked up, and that was Killzone Liberation. Fantastic condition. The UMD inside is also in good condition. I know these usually come quite damaged and scratched. The plastic is scratched, but the disc itself is pristine. It comes with the manual as well. Next one is one I did try and pick up from CX a couple of weeks ago, but when I took it to the counter they couldn't find the disc. You know, that happens to us all. But that is Soul Calibur 4, where you get to play as Darth Vader. Now I played this on the 360 and I believe they got Yoda. So it would be cool to have a chance to play as Darth Vader. Now the next one, or the last one from this stall, when going to this event, one of the things I had in mind was that I wanted to pick up some kind of collector's edition or deluxe edition that had some really cool bits and pieces in. And that's exactly what I got at this stall. So I do talk about this a bit more in depth in my Steelbook video for the PS4. But that I got the Far Cry Primal Collector's Edition. I won't go into detail with this because I do in that other video and I don't want to, you know, repeat myself. But essentially in the picture down there you can see what you get. So you get like an art book, or like a book that has information about the game. You get like a soundtrack and a map and stuff. One of the main things I was happy to get with it was the Steelbook, which is just in absolutely mint condition. As I said in my other video, I think this was just kept in the box and not used. You do get a standard copy of the game as well. But I'll put the disc for the soundtrack inside. But yeah, really happy to pick that up, £20 for that. The other 2 games I got for £3 each, I believe, so that brings it to 26 altogether. Next stall was just a quick one. I can't remember their name, but they're always there as well. They always have really amazing stuff there, but they had hidden on the floor around the side of their stall a box full of PS2 games, and it was 3 for £5. So I just picked up 3 I didn't have. First one, the cover art is a bit battered at the top, but that is Alone in the Dark. Picked it up simply because I've never played it. Next one is one that I do remember playing with my mum again quite a lot, and it is one of the best shooters that were, you know, available at the time, and that is Black, made by EA and Criterion. So I mean, if you played any of the other games from them, you kind of know what to expect. And then next one is an absolute classic, and that is Crazy Taxi, again in really good condition. And then inside you've got the disc and manual, all looking good. This next stall is probably the one that I'm using for the title and thumbnail, because I'd got a really big PlayStation 3 heavy hitter. So this stall was in the middle of the event, right bang in the middle, and it was one of the biggest ones. It had trays and trays of games, and it was one of the first stalls that I'd actually seen as I come into the event, because the way I went, it's one of the first stalls you walk past. I had a brief look on my first lap, and I could see that the prices were pretty much bang on what CEX were charging. So I carried on from there to go and try and look for the bargains as I do on my first lap. And then I took like a really really deep look and was seeing if there was anything that I was really interested in. So the two games that I kind of picked up and looking at the other games, but they were Ace Combat Assault Horizon, one that I don't really see that often, and he had it for £4. It also come with a soundtrack in there as well, so I thought, you know, £4, why not? And then the other one is The Blob 2. Guess it's a bit of like a, I don't know, cheap for a reason kind of games. But complete with the manual, £2. Thought, why not? So whilst I'm holding them two games, vendor comes over and starts talking to me about PS3 games, and he's saying like what an amazing console it is to collect for at the moment. You know, there's some really amazing games on it. It's really cheap to collect for the most part. And we're just having a really great chat about, you know, how I've built my PS3 collection over the last year, and I'm really happy with how it's getting on. And he starts pulling out some of the heavy hitters out, stuff like Lollipop Chainsaw, Alice Madness Returns, stuff like that. Stuff I haven't got. But the last one he picks up is the most expensive game he has, which was the Classics HD version of Killzone 1. Now, Killzone 1 is a game I've never played, but when I saw the price of it, and I've kept the label on for a reason, because it was £120. Now, I must have pulled some kind of face, because he had a bit of a chuckle, and he said like, yeah, I know, like £120 it is a lot, but that is what it's selling for. I just said to him, it's not him. I understand that that's what the game's worth, but I just can't justify spending that amount of money on a PS3 game at the moment. So he turns around and he says, okay, what price would it have to be for you to buy this game right now? And I'm standing there and I'm having a little think, and I'm thinking, I can't really afford to pay for this game anyway, even if I said some really low number. But I just thought, all right, I'll give it a go, see what he says. So I'll say £40 to £50 is probably, if I saw that in a shop, I'd buy it there and then. And then what I didn't expect is for him to come back to me and say, if you meet me at £60, I'll sell it to you right now. And it was just one of them things where in my head I'm thinking, I didn't expect to spend £60 on a PS3 game today, but it's a game that's normally double that price anywhere else. If I don't buy this for this price now, when will I get a chance to buy this game again? So after thinking about it for a minute or two, I just said, yeah, you know what, go on, I'll buy it from you for that. And he was telling me that he got really lucky with it and picked it up from a car boot. Didn't say what he paid for it, but he said him selling it at £60, he's happy with the profit he's made, and he's happy to pass it on to, you know, a fellow collector. But yeah, obviously really, really happy to add such an expensive game to the collection for half the price what it's worth, really. And sorry I don't have your name or your business name, but if you're out there and you do remember this conversation, honestly, thank you so much, mate. Without you, I wouldn't have this in the collection. I'd probably never have this in the collection. But yeah, obviously really stoked to get that. So that's the end of the games that I picked up from the game fair. I got about 32 games all in all, and I'm really happy with the games but I got a lot of games that I didn't expect to ever own, or didn't expect to get them for the price I did, basically. But that isn't the end of the purchases I made from the game fair, because there is one last thing that I bought, and it's one thing that I think is really, really cool and fits in really nicely into my collection. And that is a statue of Mewtwo. This was on the top shelf, right at the back behind a stall. And I thought it was just like their display thing for their game shop. But upon closer inspection, I could see there was a price tag on it. Couldn't see what it was. So I asked the guy, and he said it's £60, but the price is negotiable. When he said that, I just turned around and said, well, what kind of price would you be happy to sell it for then? Save us going back and forth. You know, what's the bottom line, essentially? And he came back with £40 then, you know, £20 off, a third of the price. But for him to come out with 40, it was just like, yeah, I'll have it. And it does light up as well. which is really nice. Only issue with that is it's battery powered, not USB, so I can't plug this in and have it constantly on. But I am still really happy with it, and I'll quickly show some footage now of where I do actually have it in the collection, and you'll see kind of why I bought it as quick as I did, because it fits in like a glove. It was made to go there. So that is now the end of all the purchases I made from the game fair, and I am more than chuffed with the things that I came away with. Some amazing pieces added to collection. One of the games that I think is the most expensive single game outside of a collector's edition I own now. It was an absolutely amazing day spent with some good friends, some of which did take part in some of the tournaments that were ongoing. I think there was a Sonic one and a Street Fighter one. But yeah, I'm really happy with the event, and I really cannot wait for the next one. So some final pickups I did make on the day. I took all of the trade-ins and stuff that I'd got from Vinted that I'd already owned or didn't need, and I traded them into CEX and picked up 2 PS4 games, one of which is Ghostbusters and the other is Dark Pictures Little Hope. Now these I don't have any of, and I do want, I think it's a trilogy, so I'm happy to add that now to the collection, and I can start off that little subset. But yes, what an amazing event, what an amazing bundle of games I managed to get a hold of. But please let me know your opinion. What game was the best? I mean, was it the Killzone HD collection? Should this game be worth the price that it is? I don't know, you tell me. Was it the Mewtwo statue that I got, or was it something else? Let me know what you think. Thank you if you have watched the video up until this point. Leave a like, subscribe, loads more videos of this like this coming out in the future, and hopefully if I get more confident at recording myself out and about, there'll be a lot more pickups from like car boots, CEXs and other game fairs that are going on in the future. But thank you very much for watching. Hopefully see you again soon. Bye bye.